to think about this. How many of you on this call are already shopping, chatting, emailing, dating, surfing on the internet? Y'all, I bet everybody has an email address now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, you know what? This quote came from the National Association of Realtors. 77% of people use the internet before they pick up the phone. So wait a second now. Why in the world would I want to be doing traditional mailing or postcard mailing, or why would I want to be doing classified ads in the newspaper if people are already on the internet? And if you think about it, people go on the internet because they want to research information before they pick up the phone and call somebody, because they don't want to be intimidated. They don't want to be scared, so they just check you out. So that's the fishing pool I want to be in, where those 70% of people are, while they're open to suggestions, right? Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I was in New York the other day, and here's this guy. He's drinking Starbucks, and he's got www.sparechange.com. PayPal him. The funds now. How is that? No, it's online. So that's where I'm like, okay. Well,
it's funny, but it's true.
It's funny, but it's true. So this is where the system came into being 4 years ago. Is, well, let's start building a motivated seller website. Now, this is the very beginning of the system, and we'll show how it progressed. But everybody's out there saying, "Hey, you got to mail foreclosures." They weren't as big 4 years ago as they were, or as they are today. But what we'd started doing is we're sending out these cash offer postcards, and everybody mails something, but the cash offer postcards had a little sentence on it that says, "For your free report on how to stop foreclosure, or on a free report how to sell your house fast in 7 days or less, go to my website." So now, after all these postcards would go out, they would get this. They would come to the website, and they would start going through the screening process, and I would know, hey, is this a deal or not? Is this person motivated? And then I could just pick and choose the deals I wanted, and I started to dominate that market. Matter of fact, people would come up to me and say, "Hey, how'd you get that deal? I went and knocked on that door, or I've been trying to get that for a while. How'd you get it?" You think I told them? Heck no. I sold them the house instead. Mm-hmm. So the website was able to give me instant credibility, who I am. It had the sales forms on it so people could fill in. I didn't have to ask them the stupid questions over and over and over again. And because they were there, in print form, people would just fill in the blanks. It's amazing what people will fill in on the web. So now the system would be pre-screening. It would negotiate. It would actually email them back as soon as they put in a price, and it would say, "Hey, are you sure that's the best you can do?" So they would email back right away, "No, I could do this better." So here I have an automated system that was negotiating for me, and I loved it. And all these leads were coming to a central lead tracking system for the customer management side of things. And I had a follow-up log, so I know, hey, in 1 week time, follow them up here. And on top of that, it had a deal analyzer, so I could just take a quick look at it and know, hey, this is a good deal or not. And I could move on to the next one, or I could proceed in the follow-up process with it. So that's where the system started in regards to finding motivated sellers. And then the other side of the coin is, we wanted to solve how we could sell those houses fast and save a lot of money. That's where it came from. Well, most realtors out there were just putting a sign in the front yard with their picture, their company name, and a phone number. I'm like, well, that doesn't really do much, So I started putting out big old banners, the 3x8 yellow banners in front of the house. I'd say, $500 down and you're in, or no money down, or lease option, rent to own, or any sort of sizzle that's sold to finance, because people buy payments. They don't actually per se buy the house. They find something that's going to match their budget, and then they match that. And we learned that from car dealers. You see all those car commercials on TV. They're selling you payments. So I would then drive them to the website. So the banner after they sold the sizzle would say, go to the website. My phone number was actually very tiny on there. So they could see pictures of the house online. They could apply online, and that application went right away to my broker to qualify them. And then only if they were qualified did I actually follow up with them and get them into the house. Because realtors don't don't show houses to unmotivated, or I should say unqualified buyers anymore, so why should we? So that is one way how I started to sell my houses faster. So just drive into a website, show the people on there, get them through the system, and I started selling all these properties myself that made me save hundreds of thousands in commission my first year in business. So that system I really, really like. So just to go on from there is I want to talk a little bit about traditional marketing because, Brad, if people are not at least doing 5 different things in their business and marketing, they will never, ever have enough leads coming in to support that business.
Right.
Okay. So let's talk about what people are doing, and we'll see how we can actually tweak it so that they get better results. Now, these are some freebies we're giving out to your students, and classified ads. Now, you remember that I spoke in the beginning. Running classified ads in the newspaper is expensive, and everybody else is saying the same thing. Well, do you know that just by implementing a domain name, which is your website address, into your marketing piece will double your response rate alone? So I'm just going to forward ahead to the next slide for a second and show you an example of this. Now, the slide is breaking down into a left side and a right side. Now, let's say we ran these ads versus the right side of what's going on most people now. Honestly, tell me, Brad, what side of that screen response would you go to first? If you know number one, I have a unique selling proposition where I'm trying to, like, bottom one, getting divorced. Well, okay,
yep.
that is a unique selling proposition. Or here's another one, a free report, how to sell my house in 9 days. Okay? You're more apt, at least I would be, to go here, check you out, get the free report, and see what it's about before I pick up the phone, right?
Well, and the other, on top of that, totally agree with you, and you've also got the psychology of the person who maybe they're getting divorced and they're upset or they're embarrassed by it, or people who have lost their job, may see that as a failure. So the last thing they want to do is get on the phone with a stranger and tell them that I've failed, although it may be completely beyond their control, the circumstances. And that's tough to admit for a lot of people. Yeah. So now they've got the anonymity by going online and doing all of the research and utilizing the sites that you have that are drawing them in and conditioning them to basically determine whether they're highly motivated or not and you should spend time with them. It's all done without you having to invest any of your personal time, which has a huge benefit to it. I mean, you're probably, if you were to consult right now, you're probably a $1,500, $2,000 an hour person, I would say at least, because the opportunity cost for you otherwise would be to turn around and apply that to a deal of, $32,000 or $50,000. So everybody's time has a fixed dollar value attached to that based on their specialized knowledge and the application of it.
Exactly. So, I really want people to, again, take notice of how you're marketing your traditional pieces. If that's all you're ever going to do from this call, take that one tip with you, get a domain name, put it in your marketing, and it will increase. Bandit signs, even though they're illegal, some people still do them, but you know what? They put "We Buy Houses for Cash" and a number up there. I'm like, oh my gosh, imagine you're speeding down the road at 70 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour, and, you see these bandit signs. Do people actually pull off the side of the road to write down your telephone number? They try and remember it in their head, and they lose it. I'm suggesting to people, put a domain name up there and make it very short and sweet, like I have Easy Sell a House, or we have the domain name We Buy Houses for Cash, or, Easy Buy a Home. Make a domain name that's very easy, that creates a solution in the people's mind. So when they're out there with bandit signs, hey, I can remember, I want to sell my house easy. And they can just go to the website when they get to their office or home and look that up, and all the information's right there. Because I tell you what, it's so much easier to remember a very short and sweet domain name, even Duncan Buys Houses, compared to, what was that telephone number again? Would you agree with me?
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with vehicle signs. I see people do them. Like, they either make them too small or they put the telephone number on the